Hello ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bilal. And you are watching Listing Info. Novels are a beloved way to escape into the past and imaginary worlds we can only hope to encounter in real life. But sometimes, as much as we love to read the classics, they can be awfully hard to crack. These American masterpieces, whether westerns, science fiction, or feminist works, may have been written during different times by different people, but they all come from the school of confusing. If you've read any of these books, you deserve praise. They are challenging, but rewarding. If you understand them after one read, you have earned some bragging rights. Here are the top 5 most confusing American novels. Number 5. Blood Meridian, 1985, by Cormac McCarthy. Just as the title suggests, Blood Meridian is so bloody you would swear that violence is the main theme. The story follows a protagonist only identified as the Kid who travels with a vicious band of scalp-hunting marauders of the Wild West. On first reading, the novel's unspeakable violence is impossible to ignore, but this is where the praiseworthy attributes get blurry. While McCarthy's prose is stunning, reading it demands quite a few breaks since the plot style is difficult. Critics describe the plot as scarce and expansive, but these terms don't capture its extensive breadth. McCarthy's novel is so complicated that the author himself feels that turning it into a movie would be very difficult to do. If it's ever made into a movie, the payoff would be incredible, but not before making the screenwriters go mad trying to find a straight format. The novel's lack of plot structure, action, or climax makes it a director's nightmare. Number 4. Moby-Dick, 1851, by Herman Melville. I know what you're thinking, Moby-Dick is confusing. While Moby-Dick or the Whale is one of the widely read books by an American author, it's a hard reading on some levels. Unlike most novels, Melville's novel was not created for the feeble reader, and to understand it, one must read it. Herman Melville's novel takes readers out into the open sea, telling a story of despair involving Captain Ahab and a great white whale. While the confrontation between the two drives the narrative along, the work is filled with everything about whaling talk and hyper-subtle imagery that demands patience. For advanced readers, reading the novel from one end to the other is reminiscent of meeting a long-lost friend, but not so for first-time readers. To enjoy the book, a slower pace rather than a rushed one is better. Chapter 32, Cetology, is particularly tasking since outwardly, it seems as if it's focusing on whales, creatures that most readers just don't care about. In reality, the chapter focuses on libraries, books, and classification systems, which make the work more intriguing. Number 3. Infinite Jest, 1966, by David Foster Wallace. Infinite Jest was acclaimed as one of the most influential books of its time, earning David Foster Wallace a place among the greats. While the 1,100-page novel is Wallace's magnum opus, the work has proven tedious to many readers who must suffer through its eccentric narrative structure. Infinite Jest is a multi-layered novel, and within the text, readers interact with creativity and originality in a way they haven't before. In amazing foresight, Wallace includes 388 endnotes that unexpectedly have their own footnotes to help readers as they go along. These stylistic choices reveal an attempt by the author to remind the readers that the book is a serious undertaking. On a critical level, many agree that Wallace's novel is brilliant, but everyone agrees that it's also a confusing read. The only good thing is that there's no wrong way to read the novel. Whether you start from front to back or read it skipping around, you'll still get the point somehow. Number 2. The Female Man, 1975, by Joanna Russ. In The Female Man, Joanna Russ takes it upon herself to craft a feminist science fiction novel that fights for the cause. Russ brings out popular issues in feminist discourse by bringing together 4 women from different worlds, literally. The novel's confusion emerges from its bizarre format. Russ divided her story into 9 chaptered sections. While a conventional writer would allow their characters to tell the story from their perspective, Russ does not. Her mix-up of points of view just complicates everything. Across the 9 sections, the viewpoint focuses on single characters, but the narration switches across characters and time periods. As you read the novel, it's confusing to know who's speaking, a mix-up that complicates attempts to decipher it. Perhaps, the difficulty plays into Russ's intentions, as she hopes to address womanhood through a new perspective. Number 1. Catch-22, 1994, by Joseph Heller. This list has some very interesting books that have confused American readers for decades. Catch-22, a novel by Joseph Heller, tops the list with its non-linear structure that relives the nightmares of World War II. Heller's Catch-22 was revolutionary in that he coined the term Catch-22 to describe the internal tussles one of his main characters undergoes in the novel. Still, despite gifting the world with a cool-sounding phrase for dilemmas, Catch-22 is confusing. In the work, Heller blurs the line between reality and farce, making it impossible to distinguish real events from parodies. The nonlinear storytelling and wide array of narrators that crisscross each other further present a challenge for readers. The storyline skips back and forth, robbing readers of any time to appreciate characters, their backstories, and preceding events. But even with a disheveled storytelling format, the novel blends into Heller's mockery of the war's necessity and consequences. Just as the Second World War was chaotic, the novel embraces chaos to describe the turmoil that faced unwilling participants.